Hello guys, we are back here to the for the coverage of round 7 of the Singfield Cup and the Kent's Cup. Let's start with the oh man, there's a result already. Should we look at that first before what? 6.9. Caruana has 6.9 advantage. Is this an error or something? It's unbelievable. I'm sure it's an error, guys. Pragg has played bishop to d6. No. There must be a transmission error, guys. This cannot be right. e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to c6. Caruana played bishop to b5, a6, bishop to c6. The exchange variation. This is getting popular nowadays. Exchange variation of the Royal Lopez castles. Queen f6. Wow, getting the queen out very early. This is one of the top moves, I would say. Caruana plays d4, the best move and the most played move. E takes d4, bishop to g5, queen to d6, knight takes d4, bishop to e7, bishop e3, all preparation, knight f3, f6 to f3, c5, threatening the knight. Knight goes back to e2, bishop to e6, b3, 000, queen to d. Okay guys, we are having some transmission error in this board because I'm sure queen to d3 was not played, and even if queen to d3 was played, queen to d5, Pragg definitely did not play queen to d5. So this game is not correct, because here only, like, I think queen to d6 would have been played. I don't know, we'll have to wait. Till then we can look at the game of Wesley So and Anish Giri. They drew it fairly quick. d4, knight f6, c4, e6, g3, d5. What is this opening? This is called the Catalan opening. This is the Catalan opening, yes. Bishop e7, knight f3, castles, castles, d takes c4, knight to e5, knight c, bishop c6, knight c6, all theory. I think we saw a similar game. It's Kramnik versus Aronian, Hikaru Nakamura. There are so many big games here. Wesley So has himself played against Aronian in 2019. I think we are following that game only. It's the same game, guys. Okay, now it has been changed. c6 has been played. Rook to e1, rook f8, bishop to d4. Still full preparation. Now Giri is playing his own game. Okay, now it's a new game. Rook takes e2, rook takes e2, bishop. But it's an opposite colored bishop, guys. It's just simple draw. What a boring game it was. And we have not the right position of this game yet, so we will skip this game and we move to the Karen's Cup where the women are taking the field. And we will first look at the game of Tan Zongi and Divya Deshmukh, since Tan is the leader of this game, of the event currently, and Divya is just a point behind her. If she manages to win today, she will be at the joint lead. With Alice Lee also following. Let's first take this game. E4, Divya is with white pieces. E4, E5. Knight to C3. Wow, it's the Vienna game. As we know of it, knight to F6 is the correct move. F4. This is called the Vienna gambit, guys. Even though the engine shows that it's not good for white, but it's very playable for white. Very sharp games arises from this. D5, the correct move here. F takes E5, knight takes E4, queen to F3, knight takes C3. We just played a game in this line. Knight to C3, D takes C3, knight to C6, bishop to B5, pinning the knight so that the knight cannot take on E5. Queen H4 check. Okay, black's queen is out. G3, and queen can go two places, either on E4 or E7. But Tang Zongi chooses to go on E7 because she does not want to exchange the queens yet. If we look, oh come on, we have a new position already. Knight takes C3, D takes C3, knight C6. Okay, it's kind of a new game. Like, no, Rappert has played some games, but this is completely new. Bishop to B5. That's why Divya played this move fairly quick. G3 was played quickly, and now she's thinking since 12 minutes. It's a very important game for both the players. If Tan wins, her lead will be solidified very nicely. I will be back, guys. I will just be back. G3, and queen can go two places, either on E4 or E7. E2 bishop, but it's an opposite colored bishop, guys. It's just simple draw. Bishop, but it's an opposite colored bishop. Okay, guys, we are back with the coverage, and now the way is thinking a lot. The best move according to the engine is bishop to f4, protecting the pawn on e5. The material is equal, but the imbalance has been created. White has a double pawn on the c file, but in return she will gonna white will get an open d5. I'm sure there's some developmental aspects as well. The d5 pawn is hanging right now. I'm sure that is not taking on d5 is not very good. Bishop f4. She plays the best move. Kudos to Divya Deshmukh here. After spending 14 minutes on the move, she finds the best one. Okay, welcome back on this game. Let's look at other Indians. What are they doing? Vaishali is playing Karisayip. Vaishali is white. Okay, here also e4 was played. Today, King's Pawn opening is being played in many games. Knight f3, knight c6, Italian, knight f6, d4. Wow, this is now we are going into the Scotch territory. I'm sure this is Scotch. This is Scotch gambit, guys. This is the opening we play. e5, d5, the correct move. Bishop to b5, knight d7. We'll take on c6. Okay, first castle. Bishop to e7. We cannot take on e5 because one of the knight is pinned. Hence, black will lose a piece. Bishop to e7. Now we take on c6. Double the pawns. And now we take on d4. Knight to b8. Okay. Interesting approach. What? I mean, knight to e5 will lead to a very sharp line, but black chooses to play knight to b8. Queen to f3. Vaishali is blitzing out her moves as usual. Castles. And knight to c3. a5. Knight to f5. Okay, this is not very accurate, but it has been played. I see many grandmasters have reached this position. To f5, bishop takes f5. Cursor thought for a while. Queen takes f5. This is definitely Vaishali's preparation, but now she's thinking like since 16 minutes. She must be planning. Now, White's best move is apparently b3, which is a bit odd to play. The idea is to stop a4. Black would play g6. White goes to queen f4, f6, e takes f6, bishop takes f6, queen d2. This is the line engine is suggesting. Okay, I'll be back, guys. I will just be back. We are back, guys. We are back. So Rook E1 was played by Vaishali. As I said, B3 is a very unnatural move to play. So now Black's best move is A4, which I think should be played by Karasayev, which would be followed by A3 maybe. Bishop B4 is coming now. Bishop D2. Now Bishop D2 will come maybe after Bishop D4. It's tough to say. Let's look at Humpy's game. She's not having best of tournaments. Okay, here as well. Neither of them, like Kostianuk is 1 on 6, Humpy is 2 on 6. Both of them are having a poor tournament here. So Kostianuk started with E4, Humpy replied with E5, Knight F3, Knight to C6, Bishop C4, Knight F6 was played, D3. Oh, immediate break in the center. Humpy is not in a mood to go into closed Italian setup, and she breaks in the center immediately on the fourth move itself. E takes d5, knight takes d5, castles, bishop to e7, rook e1 threatening the pawn on e5, f6. Oh, this makes me afraid. Like, f pawn has been moved so early in the game, but this is the line she has chosen. c3, the best move, bishop to g4, and white also breaks in the center. Now the king is not castled yet, and now the black king is looking to castle long because bishop is looking at g8 square. The f pawn has been moved, so black would want to castle on the queen side. First, we'll take the pawn on d4, c takes d4, and now knight to b6. Okay, so d4 seems like a new move to Humpy because, yeah, there is only one game, Shant Sarkisian versus Yajiz Khan at Dogmas, in which white won the game. And e takes d4 was played, and even in that game, knight b6 was played. If that game is continued, then bishop b3 will be played, queen d7. Okay, we are following the Sargasian versus Edogmus game right now. Queen to d7, the last black's move, preparing to castle long. White has many options now. h3, threatening the bishop. Knight to c3, developing the knight. Maybe white may even try bishop to f4. I don't see any problem. I was thinking like if h3. Okay, you can see the line there. h3, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3. h3, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, knight takes d4. Okay, b7 is hanging. I see. But my point was, what if we take with the queen? Let's look at this. Rook to e4, maybe back to queen to d7. Apparently it is very bad for white. It's actually unclear to me. Very bad for black, because you can see the bar is 3.1 in favor of white. So it's tough for me to understand why it's so bad for black. I mean, maybe the king is let's go bishop to e3. What if we castle long? Okay, no, we cannot castle long. Okay, so basically the king is in the center. That is the we cannot castle long because bishop e6 will come and the queen would be pinned. So I think this is the reason this line is bad. Queen d7 played. Now Kostianuk is thinking. She thought for a while, 4 minutes. Let's look at Pragg's game. Have we gotten the correct position yet? Yeah, guys, we have the correct position now. Finally. Let's get back. So, bishop to e6, b3 was played. 000. Okay, now the move that was transmitted earlier was queen to d3. But the correct move is queen to d6. Fabi took the queen. Pragg took it with the bishop. Knight developed. Fabi goes back with knight to d7, maybe preparing knight e5 or f5, maybe. Sorry. Something like that. Rook a to d1. I mean, this is an open file. Of course, rooks belong to the open file. So Pragg puts one of his rook into the open. Fabi. Sorry, Fabi is white, guys. Pragg is black. And Pragg breaks with c4. Black has a double bishop advantage in this position. So black would like the position to be open. And that is a double pawn. Of course, black would want to exchange that pawn. King f2 is one of the best moves. Right now the position is equal. But king f2, the Indian is suggesting king f2. Which is totally not. Sorry. Which I am unable to understand why king to f2 is being suggested. I like the other suggestion, knight to d4. So now we'll get rid of one of its bishops. An isolated pawn as well. I'm gonna take a little break, guys. I'll be back pretty soon. We're back, guys. Let's see what happened. What moves happened? Knight to d7. We saw till c4. After that, knight f4 was played. Okay, this is also a nice move. Basically, Fabi went from other way around. Went cb3, eb3. Only these two moves have happened yet so far. Let's look at the other games. What's happening in other boards? So bishop f4 was played. Tanzongi played g5 here. Wow, what a courageous move. She tried to win the e5 pawn. I mean, what can I say? Bishop to e3 right now. Queen to e5 is a good move or a bad move? Although she played bishop to g7, but what's happening here? It's not a very good move. Bishop to g7, and white played queen to f2, which is the best move actually. So this game is going to be nice. We can be looking at this game for a while, because this is turning out to be a nice one. Bishop c5 is threatened. But still the engine suggests black should castle. Okay, bishop c5 cannot be played immediately because queen to e5 will come with a check. So we have to be careful. Queen f2 may have been played in order to play knight to f3. And castles, let's say black castle, white plays, maybe takes on c6, she takes on c6, and now knight to f3. You cannot take the g4, protecting the pawn on g5 because it was attacked twice. Now we have two options, knight to d4 and bishop to c5. This looks more tempting to me. Let's say queen to e8, bishop f8, bishop f8, knight b4, queen to d4, king d1. Wow, this if this variation plays out, this will be an interesting game, because white has an exchange up, but king is not castle. For the compensation for black is white's king is in the center. So this, and black has a pair bishop as well. Rooks are not coordinated. So I would say this would be a nice variation. So queen to f2, black still thinking. Bishop takes e5. This is also not a very good move. You cannot open the e file until the black king is put to safety with castles. Bishop d7 is also a fine move here. Zhong is thinking since 10 minutes, and it is a very important game for Tan. If she wins, then she will solidify her lead at the top. It's round 7, only 2 rounds are to be played after this. So she will most likely become the winner of this tournament. Black is still thinking. Let's say if black plays bishop to d7, triple zero. Let's say black also castles. Rook to d5 is not a very nice move. I don't understand why. What's the problem with this? Okay, queen to e6 is coming with ideas like queen to e2 if white moves. It's not a very nice move actually. Right now we are still here. Let's look at Vaishali's game. It's also dead equal. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f3. We saw all these. She played b3, but she played b3 a little bit late because now she won't be able to hit her bishop also. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm a bit sleepy tonight. Best move was knight c5 for black, but nevertheless, black played bishop b4, bishop b2. No, white played bishop to d2. And rook e8 has been played. Now Vaishali is thinking. According to the engine, the best move is e6 or f4. There's a pressure on e5 pawn. Let's see what black's threat is. Let's say if I play a random move like, let's say, h3. Then queen e7 is coming. Okay, now e6 is not an option. Not good, not good. a3. Vaishali has played a3. It's an okay move. Threatening the bishop on b4. Bishop goes back to f8. Then maybe we'll play e6. e6. Let's say bishop f8. Yeah, now e6 is pretty possible. Okay, now the best move is bishop to c5 according to the engine. Quite interesting. We are back, guys. We are back. And bishop c5 was played rather than bishop to f8, and black has a very slight edge right now. And best move for white is knight to a4, which threatens the bishop on c5. To which the reply should be bishop to d4, putting more and more pressure on e5. I mean, why knight to a4 is the best move? It's tough to say. And bishop to d4 is the a1 rook is also threatened with this move, so we will play bishop c3 takes. Okay, this is a nice idea. Getting rid of the dark squared bishop of black. And if not bishop d4, then black will have to simply... Actually, it is protected by knight, so it's not like this is threatened. But still, I think black would not want to give this bishop away for a knight. Other move white has is knight to d1. Okay, this is interesting. Knight to d1, rook e6, bishop c3. Okay, knight to e1 is going to be played in order to move the bishop to c3. This is an interesting approach. This is another interesting approach there. And opening the c pawn as well. If knight to d1, let's say knight to d1, rook to e6. No, not rook to e6. Knight to d1, then bishop to b6 was being suggested. Bishop d4 is definitely a threat. Let's say white plays a random move. Now for bishop d4 is coming. Putting print. Now f4 is also not possible. Is e6 possible? Let's say e6, fe, rook e, and rook f8. The f2 pawn is just very loose. So this line is not working now. So white has to play knight to a4 definitely, or knight to d1. Now we understand the motive of knight to d1. Okay, I'm sorry. Knight to d1 also protects the pawn on f2, because we all know knight moves in an L shape 2.5 squares ahead. So Vaishali has to be a little bit careful with her moves, otherwise she can fall into a big trouble. Some other moves white has, I think, what can white do? Rook e2, g6 would be played. Rook e2 is not a very bad move, trying to double up on the e file, maybe after a4, but it is not best move as well. Let's see the other games. See how Divya doing. Okay, Tan Long is still thinking after the move queen f2. It's been 24 minutes now and Tan Zongi is still thinking. A very very long thing on move number 11 itself. Interesting, interesting. Humpy and this game is looking like a draw, guys. Not much is left there. D4 takes. D6, bishop b3, queen to d7, h3. Are we still following the... Yes, we're still following the Sargatian and our dogmas game. Takes... Knight takes d4, queen takes b7, knight takes b3, a b3, castles. Now finally at move number 16, we have a new position. Question plays bishop to f4, c7 is threatened, knight to d5 or bishop to b4, but Humpy goes with bishop to d6, takes. Couldn't we have taken on the queen? The small nuances these grandmasters understand that makes them grandmasters. Now, rook to d1. The d pawn is threatened, but here with rook f to b8 will threaten the b3 pawn, and I don't think even if white gets the d6 pawn, the advantage is enough to convert that to win. This will be a draw. This will be a draw. Alice Lee, how is Alice Lee doing? Because she is also a contender for the championship, for the crown of this tournament, and right now its her position against Anna Muzichuk is equal. 6 pawns each, two rooks and a bishop, for the both sides. The bishops are of same color. Muzichuk has a pawn on d5, which can be called a weakness, but white has no practical way to attack it. The only open file is controlled by the black pieces. Black has a queenside majority, so it's quite a balanced game here. Black will someday play b5, try to create a passed pawn. White maybe will try to get one of her rook on c5 maybe. e5 takes. One plan can also be to play e4, exchange the pawns on d5 and have our own passed pawn on the d file. But outside passers are always much more stronger. Outside passers are the passed pawns on these files. They are called the outside passed pawns, which are tough to stop compared to a central passed pawn in the endgame. Rook to b1. This has been played I'm trying to understand why rook BB1 has been played. Maybe she wants to go with the rook on c file and try to challenge black's rook on c6. This is her idea. After bishop to c5, Vaishali is thinking. Here moves have been played after queen to f2. Finally, after around 25 minutes of think, Tanzongi castled. Divya played the move bishop into c6 fairly quickly, which is apparently the best move. I'm sure she was also thinking when Tan was thinking. And b into c6, this is quite obvious. Knight to f3, supporting the e5 pawn and also threatening pawn on g5. Black ignores that and plays rook to e8, which is not a very good move. Divya castles right now, she will have a very good position. Let's say long castles, she will have plus zero point 0.4, which is good, which is okay. Of course, it's not a clear advantage or a winning advantage, but it's definitely better than 0-0. We're live, guys. We're live. We're back, guys. A little bit lag was there due to internet connection because it has rained a lot at my place. So the internet is not so stable today. We were yet to play the move 000 or 00. So we have to wait for a move. Can't we take here directly? No, it would be dangerous if we take the pawn directly. That would be dangerous. Bishop a7 is also a possibility. In this knight castles, f6 bishop a7 can also be played. Wow, if we go short castle. Interesting, interesting. Now we have to see how the guy is going to respond to this move. Where are you guys not joining today? The game can move forward like this, but first here